Indeed. And greetings upon you, beloved and holy friend. Thank you so much for joining me here again on another live stream. Another moment for us to attract into our lives that which we want. Picked a flower for you guys. I don't know if some of you will remember that I was talking about, smelling beautiful flowers, and these are them. English, please. Oh, fantastical. Shannon, thank you for joining me. Flower? Goodness, did I just snort? Maybe a little bit. The practice of forgiveness is the whole of spirituality. Why? Because forgiveness means to let the world off the hook, to release any sense of victim consciousness, and in doing so, to forgive oneself. Whew, like I'm actually getting goosebumps. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. Yes, see. This whole stream, I want to talk about magnetism, and this is going to be a little bit woo woo. So strap in, friends. It might be a little bit esoteric. It might be nonsense, absolute gibberish. But what's most important is for you to feel, for you to think about these concepts we'll be sharing, and to just allow yourself a moment to consider them. You know, they don't have to. Like, I'm trying to make a magnet reference. You don't have to. Oh goodness, no, my cushion. So I was like trying to balance my cup of water, and I failed. And now the cushion that I usually sit on is completely soaked. So I'm going to go and get another one. Leave this one out to dry. Hey, puppy. Where's the seat? Where's the seat, puppy? Go. Does it sit good? Huh? You sure it's good? You sure it's okay? Thank you for seat testing. I appreciate you, little girl. This man likes my nan likes your scarf. Kugupu. Say love to your nan, friend. Thank you. Your nan has good taste. I appreciate you sharing some of that love. I'm just gonna say I'm not surprised this is today's topic. Synchronicities, shadow. All of the synchronicities. I've been experiencing more than I can count at this point. Like, genuinely, I'm experiencing so many synchronicities that I feel I'm not experiencing synchronicities, and it's a little bit jarring, but it's beautiful nonetheless. Aiden, what the bed? Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure having you here as well. Hello, fellow magnets. Hello, fellow magnets. I like that. Isaac, thank you for joining us. Same tree, maybe. Maybe. I'm not exactly sure what you are asking necessarily, same tree. But yes, maybe yes. Are you a teacher, a magi, or my daddy? I'm Eltmore, friend. It's nice to meet you. I know that I didn't, click on A, B, or C, but I had to add like a little D option there for myself. Thank you for joining us, friend. For sharing love. For being attracted into this space. Like, I'm trying to get my cup to stay. Will it stay right there? I believe it will this time, at least. I'll say hey to you, beloved friends. Oh goodness, Lisa's here. Namaste to you. Thank you for joining us, beloved friend. Aunt B joining us as well. Fash, Gob Nugget. I was like thinking about you a lot before the stream today, dude. Guy looks like that famous Reddit streamist, Meltmore. Streamist. Extremist. Are we extremists? No. Unless, the extremes that we go to is trying to see infinity and everything. It's like, oh, look at this apple. And then instead of just seeing an apple, something to be eaten, we're like, oh yes, fractals growing in, from the inside, expanding outward, self-duplicating, creating these seeds, supporting new life. And then maybe we do go to some extremes, just a little bit, but it's fine. At least we choose love. Thank you, brother Bear. Thank you, God, for your recognition, for seeing me. See you, dude, looking straight at your eyeballs. Thank you for joining me, friend. I finally set up my answer yesterday. Woo! Aiden, doing the things, brother Bay. That makes me so happy to hear. We are just extremely loving, bro. Exactly that, dude. Oh yeah, it's totally tripping me out, but I'm embracing it completely. It's a good thing, Shannon. For what it's worth, it's a good thing. You know, like that's the only thing that I can say about it right now. The synchronicities are good. You are living in tune. You are doing the things that needs to be done. Okay, man. I'm so excited about today's topic because it's something that absolutely fascinates me. And as I mentioned, some of it is rooted in science, right? Like I'm going to bring into the space some science topics and I'm going to be like, "Oh, interesting, right?" And then we're going to slowly, gradually tiptoe into the more esoteric, the stuff that isn't exactly as easily quantifiable, but still is. In the infinity. Okay, so before we do that, we haven't done a contemplation in a while now. Take a breath with me. Just in this moment, breathe. Look around yourself. Notice 5 things that you can see: a tree, a puppy, a chair, a wall, grass. Is that 5? I'm bad at counting. Look at 4 things that you can touch. You can do the same things over again. Just imagine yourself touching them. You can even imagine licking it. And I know that might be a weird request, but notice that your tongue knows what that thing is going to feel like if you do end up licking it. You might have never licked the thing that you might be looking at, but you can still imagine the texture. Isn't that odd? Yes. Listen to 3 things you can hear. I hear a bird. I hear leaves rustling in the wind. I hear a puppy growling. Like I was about to say I hear my tinnitus, but then she started growling, so. Notice 2 things you can smell. Right now there's a earthy flavor coming from the soil I'm sitting on and this little flower. And lastly, notice how you feel. You might be feeling a bunch of things. You might be feeling nothing. And everything in between, including both ends of the spectrum, is you feeling. Become aware of your breath again and just notice how supported you are. How interconnected we are with this very, tree expanding above us. As we breathe out oxygen, it breathes in carbon dioxide. As it breathes out oxygen, I breathe out carbon dioxide. We are so beautifully interconnected, not only with our current planet, but with the laws of quantum physics. Technically, every single one of the atoms in your body, because it has mass, it has gravitational pull on everything. Everything. Just sit with that for a moment. Every single molecule in your body is connected on a quantum level to everything. Hello, Peppy. Don't bump my water, please. Want to come and sit on my lap? Hmm? No? Yes? Okay. Breathe in recognition of where you are right now. Instead of being anywhere else, you are here. In this moment, present and aware. What have you been feeling lately? What has been coming up over and over again? What is it you have been trying to learn? What is it you've been trying to transcend? What is it that makes you feel uneasy in your current experience? Looking at these emotions and just asking ourselves, how could, not saying that it does, but how could our actions be attracting these difficulties into our lives? How could our unwillingness to accept certain truths keep the ultimate truth away from ourselves? And I know that's a lot. So bring your attention to your relationships, you know, and I might be touching on the same subject twice, technically. You know, if the problems you've been dealing with, the things that have been causing you dis-ease, has been your relationships. In this moment, not judging any of these relationships, not judging our power to attract the relationship we've had, but to think of our power to attract positivity into that relationship. You know, what were the conditions every single time positivity was attracted into the relationship? Be it romantic, be it with your colleagues at work, be it with a best friend, a sibling. Again, not trying to judge ourselves, just noticing if there's any patterns that are, coming up in our minds right now. Asking ourselves how we can be a little bit more creative with our ability to share love. How can we become creative with our ability to attract that which we want into our lives? How can this creativity empower both our relationships and our emotions? What could your creativity attract into your life? Just thinking for a moment, what could your creativity attract into your life? And then realizing there's one of two states to be in, thinking about that. You can either be in the state of disbelief, being like, sure, Mel, I can think about what my creative pursuits can attract into my life, but it's not like it's going to happen. Or do the opposite of that. Not only imagining what your creative pursuits can attract into your life, but to see them as having already been attracted, already being here, already being thankful for the life that you've attracted, being thankful for one another, having attracted each other, to realize that we've willed this, to realize that we can will everything. You can will yourself to get up, you can will yourself to move forward, you can will yourself to sit down and to do something. And as we keep willing ourselves, we manifest the reality that we want. We attract the reality that we want by being in a state of magnetic attraction, tuning yourself to the frequency that you want to attract, living with your willpower in a frequency that will attract the life that you know you can live, the life that you deserve, even. To remind ourselves to be compassionate, with other beings, to be, to be compassionate with yourself, like these these contemplations can bring up a lot of things in ourselves, and just to remind ourselves to be compassionate can be of the utmost importance. Even going a step further, bringing your hands to your heart. You can place them over your heart. You can bring your palms together. Imagining yourself holding your heart, not pressing your hands together, but just gently having them kind of rest on one another. Thanking your heart for having been there with you, ceaselessly beating, literally since your existence. Your heart has been there for you, supporting you, taking care of you. You are loved, Gartha. Be in this moment with me. I'm trying to be as compassionate for you right now as possible, dude. You already know, Gartha. You already know, Brother Bear. Thank you for being so aware. In this moment, to ask ourselves to really listen, to not only listen with a mindset of paying attention, but to listen with the mindset of attracting into your life that which you want to hear. To live in a certain way where the things that are going to be said to you are in alignment with what you are attracting. In the same way, to realize that your words, the things you choose to say, have that exact same power. That by saying certain things into the world, you are, no jokes, putting out energy. You can be like, yeah, Melt, it's pressure waves. Little, the air changes little pressure waves, and that's it. Is it? We kind of like throw this butterfly flaps its wings on the other side of the country, and we get hit with tsunamis on this side, right? Imagine what you are doing. Imagine what you are saying. Imagine how the things you're doing, the things you're saying, are attracting into your life. And I want to keep it ambiguous because, the, goodness, there's so much that can be attracted, good and bad. And it's going to be from this perspective, this awareness that you're in right now, that you'll get to notice, even if you do attract bad things, instead of thinking of it as the end of the world, just to notice it again. To be like, huh, what did I do to attract this? Maybe I should stop doing that. It's not always easy though. So I would like for us all to ask for intuition, to be able to see that which does attract positivity, and to be able to melt away that which does not. I see a candle, almost like it's standing in the middle of nowhere. No thing, no space. And yet shining its light. How does shining your light attract? And we know intuitively that moths fly to the flame, if you will, right? But these little moths, these little infinities symbolized, come into our lives depending on the spectrum of light that we emit. Realizing that that light flows from a source that we're all connected to. Realizing that we're never separate from that. Realizing that we're empowered by that. And choosing, instead of trying to hoard and keep to ourselves, contracting into smaller and smaller balls, we can expand ourselves. We can give our light freely because we know that there is yet more light to be given. And light gives without expecting, without needing to be received. without lament, without resistance. Thank you for sharing your light, friend. Cheers to you. BK, I hope you have a solid day as well, friend. Thank you for joining us, man. The resemblance is uncanny. Hey, Fash. You just friends are silly. Okay, Kartha, sorry. Let me share some love with you, brother Bear. I did see that, Aiden. I have to get to your shop though through the app. I'm so glad you were able to get it up. Woohoo! Thank you for celebrating. Hello, Meld. Had to cancel my Patreon because I got fired. It's completely okay, Kartha. It's interesting though, you know. Like, I'm not gonna share because it's gonna sound crazy. Hope you are doing well. I didn't want to work there anyway, so maybe I magnetized and manifested it. Other than that, things are great. Let's be. I hope you're doing well with the bear. I hope your relationship is going well. I've been thinking and sending you so much love, brother bear. As you're saying, maybe this is exactly what you need. Garza, thank you for the love, Shannon. Have a solid day. So literally yesterday, Jazz and I were driving, and I was literally, wow, this looks like my hometown, Newton in North Carolina. And as I say that, we roll up to a stoplight. The street name, Newton Road. Hmm. Hmm. Of all things, was it? Hmm. So Isaac. Okay, hometown. It is called Newton in North Carolina. Newton Road. What a trip that must have been. You know, to see synchronicities, to notice, you know, the magnetic power. Is that the way to say it? The attractive power, you know, of a certain space, and then to see it having the same name, even. How surreal. Yes, like goodness, the amount of synchronicities. It's boggling my mind a little bit. So, the thing that I wanted to share this whole time, you know, that I've been thinking about, and I don't know exactly how to share it in a way that would be easily transmittable just through words. You know, it's a lot easier if you can see a little picture. But it's the understanding of electricity and how electricity influences the things that it flows through. So we all, I hope at least, we all understand that the reason we can, you know, articulate, and the reason we can remember, the reason we can try to understand, you know, emphasis on the try, is because we have these little electrons flowing through our neurons, right? You know, we have these little dendrites connected to little larger, you know, synapse cells, and then they communicate with one another by transmitting these little electrons throughout one another, right? So just think about that for a second. Think about how magnetism could apply to that. Not only that, but do realize that your brain right now is outputting magnetic waves so powerful that it's detectable outside of your skull. All right? Once again, look back. You, right now in this moment, are outputting magnetic waves from your brain. Powerful enough to be detected outside of your skull. Literally. Okay, right? So let's come back to the scientific part now. I guess that's kind of scientific as well, but this is the thing that, you know, is boggling my brain, and I've been really thinking about the implications of it as of late. So if you have, how do I say this, a continuum, a wire, however, and you have on the one side of the wire a lamp or a little light, and you have here your power source and a switch, you can extend this wire into infinity, loop it back, extend this side of the wire into infinity, loop it back, and the distance between the switch and the light in the speed of light is going to be the determining factor that switch on that light. We're like, no, the fuck did you just say? Okay, another way to understand it. As soon as we run electrons through something, electrons don't push one another along, right? Like in the way that we've been explained electricity and like our science classes in high school, that we have these visualizations of electrons kind of like marching around the stroombahn, the pathway or whatever, right? Like kind of like marching along, almost like they're pushing one another. When in actuality, what happens is there is a magnetic wave generated all across that entire pathway, and that magnetic wave is basically what creates the potential for these electrons to flow, as in having something negative and having something positive. Something wants to bridge that gap. The thing doesn't get pushed by something behind itself. It's the magnetic force that moves it, right? So what we learned is that those magnetic waves are moving at the speed of light, one. And two, you can have an infinite wire, and as long as these two things, like you can extend them into infinitum as well, but if this thing is like a meter away, that light will go on as soon as you switch that little switch on, within 1 meter over c, as in 1 meter over the speed of light. So as long as it takes for light to travel over that 1 meter is how long it will take for that light to go on. Instead of the electrons having to flow through the entire infinity, it switches on because of the magnetic waves that switch is outputting as soon as you close the continuum, literally in waves. So as soon as a current gets produced, it outputs these magnetic waves. And as soon as those magnetic waves hits the other side of the continuum, that light goes on. Without current flowing through the entire infinity, that light goes on. Right? Like, and this is like, we understand this. We have sensitive equipment enough to test the current that flows through it as well. And it's like a fourth, about a quarter, at most like a third of the total voltage that can flow through the, pathway. So at a loss, but still. And then the reason that I'm bringing this as an idea is not necessarily to give a science lecture, but to think of these magnetic waves being outputted as soon as there's electrons flowing through a continuum in the context of our brains. You have neurons, billions, trillions of neurons wired together right now. And not only are they influencing one another, creating electronic, pathways as they're firing, like, oh, I think something, and then this neuron activates this neuron, that neuron activates that neuron, little fractals get generated. That fractal outputs magnetic waves, in turn activating other neurons again, and again, and again, and again. So then thinking about all of that in the context of what it is we're doing, right now in this moment, how we found ourselves attracted to this space, attracted to whatever it is we're supposed to hear right now, whatever we're supposed to feel, being able to share this attractiveness with one another, being able to bounce back and forth, and then realizing that we're not only creating these patterns, and then in creating these patterns, creating patterns fractaling out from those patterns with the magnetic waves, terminating, and then also having these magnetic waves influenced or, detectable outside of your skull, outside of the encapsulated being that you think you are. There is a body of magnetism. And as you move through this space, you are influenced and influencing the magnetism of your environment, of the other people around you, of the trees, of the little animals, of the insects. And just to realize in that way the power that you hold. Quantum dynamics basically explain, or proclaim rather, that every single molecule is attached to every single other molecule through gravity. Anything that has mass exerts gravity on anything that has mass outside of itself. So all things, all atoms, you have mass, which means you are attracting not only all of the universe, but the universe is attracting you. Right now, wherever it is you're sitting, wherever it is you're standing, you are pressing down against the earth just as hard as the earth is pressing up against you. And to realize that that infinity is present everywhere. Everywhere. Like, you cannot escape your influence. You shouldn't want to. You should embrace it. You should take responsibility for it. And just to realize the surreality of what it is we are. We're playing such important roles, friends. like more important than we can even imagine, like more important than I can even know, even though I know it's important. You know? Like it's this paradox of realizing that the things that we're attracting into our lives right now is this. Like we've already done it. We're already doing it. And it makes me happy. Like I feel like I'm maybe a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Melancholy. Yeah, but I'm not. I'm just like baffled. I'm absolutely flabbergasted with the fundamental reality of reality. Like just the way that it is. Like the way that we used to understand and science as a whole, like the things that Einstein kind of brought into the world of mathematics has still not been reconciled. Like Einstein came along and literally threw spanners, not like one, he like threw like the whole toolbox into our understanding of mathematics, our understanding of the quantifiable. And we're moving into a reality where we're going to be quantum beings. You already are a quantum being, like legitimately. So as soon as you witness something, you collapse into a one or a zero, right? Like a quantum machine does as well. So instead of being nothing, you're like, oh, one, or you're like, oh, zero. And then that zero is the firing of a neuron or the not firing of a neuron. And as soon as a neuron fires, fractals. You. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. It baffles my mind. How are we supposed to believe that we're nothing when this is the understanding that's coming to our collective consciousness at this point? And we're moving towards something that is even more surreal, like right now. Goodness. Becoming a quantum being on the scale of humanity, right? So in the same way that single-celled organisms started cooperating, and single-celled organisms, their DNA is in their membrane, right? So literally their outer layer contains their DNA. Not only does it contain their DNA, but the environment influences, mutates, is magnetic with their DNA. It means that instead of DNA being something that is, competitive, something that is combative against the outside world, it's something that is fundamentally cooperative. Unity is efficient. Unity works to the point where you have between 60 and 100 trillion cells in your body right now. 100 trillion cells. 100,000 billions. Yes. Thank you, brain. It's like monkey. Like, yeah, thank you. I know. It's mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And yet, you consider yourself me. You are 100 trillion things at the same time right now, and yet you believe to be me. I, aware, consciousness, presence. And then to think of it in the case of where it is we're going right now. Because not only is that the case, but we are now actively heading towards a reality where humanity is going to be that larger organism. And we are going to be those single celled organisms as an individual, a part of a whole, truly getting into the unity mindset. And it's going to be surreal in so many ways. And the amount of synchronicities we're seeing right now is already proof of that. The mind that we're experiencing right now is syncing up over and over and over and over again. And there's an oscillation, I believe, that is starting to happen between mind. An oscillation that allows us to tune into a higher frequency of thinking, a higher frequency of being. We're attracting that into our lives right now. and it boggles my brain. Like I'm having a hard time, yo. Straight up mind melting. Thank you, friends, for allowing yourself to just, hear these things. And again, as I mentioned, these things don't have to click. You don't have to be a positive and a negative pole and, get completely attached to it. You can be repulsed by it if you want to be, but just feeling for yourself what it is you're going through with these things being shared. Bethany, so nice to have you here, friend. Man, I think I've missed a few of them. Hi, Shanna. I'm doing well. It's going well. Sorry for the late reply. No, you're doing fine, Gartha. And Newton, that is what I call a sync word. Yeah, absolutely. If you hear or think a certain word at the same time it aligns in real life, I used to keep a journal with those words. Maybe you should again, Kartha. Bethany again. Melt, could you say hello to Bubby? Hey, Bubby! How are you doing, little homie? I'm sorry. I'm sorry for sharing all of the stuff I just did because you're like, I hope you're listening. I do hope you're listening because I feel if anybody would understand, it's going to be you. Do you understand what I'm saying, Bobby? Do you understand? Because I don't. Please teach us, little dude. Thank you, Envy, for giving me an opportunity. Love to the bub. Einstein broke the game. He said time. Oh, yeah. All of time, the past, the future, exists within the present. That is what Einstein said, and it's something that we've, like talked about in the stream as well. But just think about that. Einstein, with his understanding of, quantum reality, he was like, yeah, actually, dude, there's no such thing as past and present. There's no such thing as past and future. All of it, all of the past, all of the future exists right now. And what you choose to attract becomes. Oh, goodness, my mind is like straight up, losing it a little bit. Uh, oh yeah, that's bendy AF. Oh, and having an observer can change the behavior of wavelengths and particles. No biggie. What? Excuse me. I would love, like Einstein would literally go into lucid dreaming states, and then in his lucid dreaming state would solve, mathematical equations. Just that, like what a G, what a cool dude. I would love to have a conversation with him. Oh man, Einstein. To sit in a room and watch at that man, like I couldn't even want to talk. I just want to observe. Me too, Jehovah. Just to be like in absolute awe of the magnificence of the humanity. Like that synchronicity, like being able to be so in tune, to see things. Literally, I believe Einstein was like looking at the world and he was just seeing things. He was just like, oh wait, yeah, of course. you know, pulling, information from chaos. Hi, friend. Saw you on Reddit a while back and remembered of you now. Everything going okay, Jacob? Everything is fantastic, by the way. Everything is beautiful, and now even more so that you're joining us. Thank you for sharing the space. It's nice to have you here, friend. He has been listening. Oh, Oddly, that really excites me. Love watching him play Minecraft. Obby is so cool. He said hello, and now he wants SpongeBob. SpongeBob SquarePants. I mean, like, I get that, Bobby. I actually unironically resonate with that friend. Like, after talking about stuff like this, or like listening to stuff like this, I also want some SpongeBob, dude. I'm like, please, please let me turn brain off, please. brain is brain is having a little bit of a hard time. My conscious state doesn't have enough RAM to figure out the intricacies of gravity. Let me just hit the sleep button and gain access to the fifth dimension of power. I believe so. I think Reddit stream dropped out. Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know. I'm still going to read the comments and then maybe we'll start again. The PK with the Love is True award. Sending you love. Thank you. I appreciate it, PK. I know you're not here, but I'm still sending you the vibes. Extremist, the most extremist of streamers. Gob Nugget, thank you, the bay. I'm back on the bike today. Oh, PK, that sounds amazing. Waffle, love to you, friend. It's nice to see you again. I wanted to say hi. Melters. Like, so now we have melters, we have Meltians, Jovans, and then we have Morians. I think that was maybe Orion. Melt- Meltians, Morians, and Melters. Friends on the most fundamental level. My Family is back. I'm in. When do I not? I am burning these incense for the space, rose, first rain, the planet, sandalwood. Enjoy. Ooh, I can only imagine. Thank you, Thbaffle, for sharing that imagery. Also, this volcano vape. Are you adding a rose and sandalwood to your volcano vape? I don't even know that you can do that, but that sounds pretty cool. Happy Tuesday, Melt Puppy. Thank you, Thwaffle. So much love to you. I've never had a source of things to create with. Oh goodness, like just you opening your eyes and lifting your head from the pillow is a creation. So I agree actually. I believe getting the marriage license today. Marriage license? A marry. I have a license to marry. Better watch out, bitch. For some reason, my mind was like, license to kill, license to marry. Yes, they go in the same little spot in my brain. I'm really loving the energy today. Thank you, Shannon. It's you, Fred. You've attracted yourself into the space to receive this power. Good morning, everyone. Today is my birthday, 31. I know a bunch of you here have a May birthday. Happy birthday month, homies. My birthday is this month as well, Mariah. So happy birthday to you. Thank you for joining us, my friend, on your birthday. I hope that your little boys are treating you like the absolute queen you are. Thank you for allowing us to celebrate you as well. I don't know about being a Morian. They have the Balrog. Morians are already things? I'm guessing so then. That's exciting, Isaac. Happy birthday, friend. So much love. But seriously, yesterday, Emma was saying that she gets to dissect something. She gets to dissect something, like cut things apart. That if it loses a limb, it regenerates. And I said, oh, I know. It's a starfish. Yes, I do believe that starfishes grow back their limbs. I'm sure certain amphibians can do that as well. Okay, there we go. She asked how he knew that, and he said, "No one else knows this but me. You can learn it from SpongeBob." Oh goodness! Like now, my mind is generating a fractal. Some sort of might be a little bit horrific. Where Patrick just straight up loses an arm or something, and then don't worry, grows the arm back. Okay, like one of the cool things about starfishes that I realized recently is the fact that starfishes have eyes on each one of their little arms, and as a result, they have 360 vision. Excuse me? How does that feel like? Just imagine for a second. Happy birthday, Movinria. Sounds like a Skyrim shot. Movinria! What would that do though? What would the Movinria shout be? I'm just imagining like a pink hue, kind of like pressurized air, and then as this pink hue kind of like starts to twirl, out of these twirls like flowers fly. So you get like like a whoosh, and then as you get whooshed, you get hit by like flower aroma, and then flowers just spatting out in your wide field of vision. Thank you, Jovan. Thank you so much. Or it makes people break out and dance. I like that even more. So alongside the getting quaffed with these beautiful aromas and seeing flowers everywhere, you're like, oh yeah, maybe it would be like a cool, what do you call it? Disabler, like, oh, these people are dancing. It's gonna be significantly easier to give them forehead kisses. I wanted to like go to like to a dark side, but it was like actually, I'd rather attract the positive. Patrick grew a whole new little starfish like a tumor. I've never seen it, but he was cracking up, little Bobby. That's freaking beautiful. It makes people break out and dance. I love that too. Lamau, new persona initiated, Mariah. Now suddenly you are Dragonborn. Like the one shout that comes to my mind when I say the word Dragonborn is Fosroda. I would love to have a Fosroda. I'm not even gonna lie. The dance ability from Destroy All Humans, but in Skyrim, basically, but more advanced, Lamar. Yeah. Destroy All Humans is that alien game, right? And I believe that Fortnite also has a boogie bomb. I probably would get, full victim to that. Suddenly there's like Cytrons playing, like a sick beat, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then someone comes in and mows me down. I'm like, oh fuck. I was having too much of a good time. And the sources of motivation. Me too. At the like as of late, Gob. I don't think it's the end of the world at the bay. You don't. You aren't required to do anything, friend. You're already doing a lot just being. I'm a sort of attention span. I know I said to make trash and art, leading into gold. Alchemy. It is how I turn an impulse buy into something I needed. My life is improving because of this. It's important, friend. Like I've really had to spend some time reminding myself that I don't need things as well. Pure magic. Never seen it like this. Now that is a motivational speech. Minus 10. Thank you, friend. I appreciate your love. I wish I could tell you I love you in person, but I'll tell you I love you in a magnetic way. Somewhere out there in the world, minus 10 is receiving love right now. The Mines of Moria from Lord of the Rings. Straight over my head. I'm sorry, Isaac. Typical Meltmore speaking word good makes me feel good. Typical Meltmore speaking word good make me feel good. And I love you, Gob. Thank you for allowing yourself to feel good about the band. Thank you for the all saying upvote, Fash. Nancy. Hello, Mama. May pakjes al gekomen? Iemand toch. Ik wacht al zo lang. Hey, Buta. Ik zeg, hey, Buta. Die voor jou. Hey, Cesar. Die voor jou. Lekker dat gaat? Oh, dat is dat, dank je. I actually have to do it every day. I have a short lifespan. Whoa, 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 whoa. The limbs can grow little Isaacs from. I can grow little Isaacs from my limbs. Like, I don't know if your friends have seen Centaur World, but they can shoot little versions of themselves from their hooves. And it's kind of concerning. I can grow little Isaacs. I actually have to do it every day. I have a short lifespan. Keeps growing new Isaacs. Mm. Like I'm just imagining like this whole, like I'm like almost like a Rick and Morty type of like basement scene where there's like different variations, like different age groups of Isaac, and then like there's a point at which the new Isaac comes out, and then he has to kill old Isaac. And I'm like, who am I speaking to right now? How many Isaacs has it been? Hence all the all the sick. You are too sick. I appreciate you, Isaac. Thank you, Rata Bear. Neuroscience. K loves submarines. I love you. Oh, there we go. The stream finally officially dropped. Like only now. Like it's been a while actually. Let's try to start up again. What a stream though. I'm happy that the YouTube was at least, present for all of it. Because goodness, like I don't know, I feel like I was like a little bit flustered at some points where I couldn't exactly articulate the way that I was seeing it, but I still believe that the understanding got transmitted, right? Like a little bit at least. Ooh. Let's go live again. It might not be that long, but it is going to be here now. I have some classes to get to very soon. Oh, I think I've missed Who Needs Tears' comment of adding other herbs to canna. Canna be so nice, especially vaping. But also using herbs to take away from the canna is also something people do to like almost reduce the intensity of it a little bit, right? I didn't know that you could. I mean, I guess I knew you could. Like I do Million, for example, which is technically a tea herb that you can smoke and it's less harsh than marijuana smoke and even has some medical benefits to smoking it. But I didn't know you could do like sandalwood and like rose petals, especially not in a vape. I don't know why, but for some reason that never came to my mind. Thank you for sharing, though, friends. I mean, they used to wean themselves. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I feel if you want to do that, Million would be the best go-to. Thank you for joining me again, Reddit friends. We'll be here for a few more moments. Whew, just feeling what we've been attracting. Like I've been really kind of tripping out about what it is we're doing in this space and how we are attracting one another, and the power we're putting out into the universe has attracted us to one another. And not only that, but I believe that you friends were the most receptive. Like you are some of the most receptive beings in the entire world. And instead of it taking you years to, it took you but days, months, a year to find this space. And it's like trippy to me, like what did I have to do? What did you have to do for us to be here now? How much to attract? Hello once again, Untitled. Cheers to you, friend. Thank you for joining us. The sun looks so nice behind you. Halo effect. See, it has like a little bit of some, what do you call them? Flares. It does look nice. Mm. I mean, it's kind of surprising that the sun actually shines there. It should be blocked by trees. Now it's dancing. Thank you. Who needs tears? So just being in this moment with me, friend. For feeling, man, I feel kind of surreal. I'm so happy that I got to at least share what I've been feeling. What I've been thinking about as of late. Like in this, alongside the yoga training that I'm doing right now. Like I went through a whole trip yesterday. Like a whole trip. So many trips. Like I came into the space initially feeling a little bit tired. Like tired and like I didn't want to do that. To be completely honest. And then, we started like basically talking about some philosophy or mythology or information that was being given. And I felt like a sense of resistance to the information that was being shared in a moment where I was like, I know all of this information and I could be doing something more productive with my time, etc., etc., etc. But I was forcing myself to stay present, to just try and pay as much attention as I possibly can, to not try and project my consciousness somewhere else because I'm not satisfied with where I am, if you will. And that basically led into the practice we did with one of the yoga teachers, Brent. It was an amazing practice. I felt like very in tune for that. And then we had like a little bit of a break. And it was cold last night. I was like really kind of uncomfortable sitting in that room because it's like a little bit in the open air, if you will, and it's cold right now. And I went to my warm room for the break that we had, and I got kind of comfortable under the blankets. And then when it came time to go back to class, I was like I was angry, like actually angry. Like my whole being was like, I need to fight someone right now. How dare thee take me out of my warm domicile and force me to sit down on cold tiles and pay attention to information that I already know. And I was like, kind of like screaming to myself. And then I realized, hey, dude, calm down. Sit here, just breathe, though. Just breathe. And then we like were supposed to teach one another, and like just prior to us teaching one another, one of the friends that were in the class with us had their microphone unmuted, and every single time they would make sound, it would interrupt the main speaker. And then not like they didn't even have a camera active, so it was just like a little V, and then this V pops up, and me being in the state of anger, I was like losing it a little bit. Just thinking to myself, not only am I angry right now, but now this person is not unmuting themselves, and in doing so is interrupting the already, stream of conscious that I'm like hard trying to pay attention to. And then, someone fortunately mentioned something, changed it, or like I let the person mute themselves. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. Can calm down again. And then they told us that now we're going to teach one another. And they tell us we're going to teach one another, but they don't necessarily share a proper amount of information about what we're supposed to be doing. Like no, like this is your sequence, like this is how you're supposed to teach it. Just like okay, now you're gonna teach one another. And like even the time, was a little bit haphazardly, told to us. So I didn't even know how much time we had. So we found ourselves in that space, and the first thing that I admit to the friends that found themselves in the same little breakout room for us to teach one another, I tell them, that I'm feeling a little bit angry. I'm feeling a little bit, you know, uh, apprehensive slash aggressive, just to kind of like get it out of myself. I don't know if I was trying to free myself, from any responsibility if I acted in a way that would be indicative of anger. I don't necessarily think so, but I was willing to admit to them and to myself that I was feeling a sense of anger. And then we go through that whole kind of like teaching experience where I get to teach, another friend gets to teach, another friend gets to teach, and the second friend that taught kind of like had a sense of intimidation or a sense of resistance to teaching because she was following me and she was like, oh, now I have to follow that. And she had a hard time, like kind of going through her flow. And then that, like, I was literally, she would put me in a pose and I would hold this pose. And then she was like, oh no, I don't know how to do this. Just, like, let's move on. And I'm like, no, I'm going to stay in this pose until the end of time unless you tell me what to do next. And like just that kind of like back and forth was beautiful to me. And then after she finished, we get to transmit a little bit of information. We get to encourage her. She shares that she's fighting demons, when she tries to teach, because all of these things in herself, are like interrupting her. All of these things that she's feeling are kind of creating a sense of separation between the stuff that she wants to say and the stuff that she is saying. And I tell her that at least you chose the best people to fight demons with. Like, we're on your side, friend. You can fight demons. We'll fight alongside you. And we have to kind of do the whole sequence again, or we have to like each give another little individual lesson again. And the second time around, she did significantly better, like so significantly better that it was like, or an order of magnitude, like literally 10 times, 10 times improvement from the literal 10 minutes ago that she was doing it. And just seeing that level of improvement, seeing how positive re-encouragement, how just being with someone, keeping space for them, not being in a state of judgment, can literally transform us. It can literally transform us. The things we put out attracts into not only your life, but into the lives of others, the energy that you are putting out. Like, you are creating a potential by saying things, by feeling things, by doing things. And that potential attracts into your life in the same context, in the same, what's the word I'm looking for? Spectrum? No. Frequency? Maybe. In the same tune. All of the above. Like the stuff you're putting out is the stuff you're getting back. And instead of judgment of yourself right now, just to notice that. What have you been putting out, friend? What have you been putting out, and has it been coming back in a way that's been serving you? It's a difficult question to ask, but it's an important one. Talking about, sorry, my last message. No, it's okay, my friend. Jovan, you're an angel. I love meditating with the fish, seeing how they can start to notice me and come close when I'm calm and paying extreme attention to them. Just like, what's this dude doing? Why is he paying attention to us in this way? Let me go and say hi to you. I think you attracted what you put out, Joe. I miss a message from Jovan. Perspective, I magnetized good energy. It worked. Makes me so happy to hear that, Jovan. Oh, I think I missed a lot of them. Goodness. I meditated while having blood drawn yesterday. Meditated over projecting a loving heart. Then it was over. Three nurses gravitated towards me and had joyful conversation about their day. Whether it was my internal change of perspective or if I magnetized good energy, it worked. It always works, Jovan. And like, I, want to give you honor. Like, you consciously did that. And with that conscious attention, with you putting out that energy, that is the energy that you attracted, that loving awareness and being able to share that with others. Again, like, you didn't have to say a word. Just you being in that state is outputting information into the world. Like, you have magnetic waves being outputted from your body right now, legitimately. 555 on the watch count, Jovan. It's surreal. It is so surreal. There's a whole training video I've got to watch. You get ready every day so I don't forget my life. Oopsie doopsie. Forgot that I'm a human being again. And there's like 5 people watching and 5 upvotes as well, Jovan. Just some more synchronicities. It's more like a Titan situation. I crawl out new every day, pull the dead host from my nape and crawl inside. It's all good. Oh, goodness. Jovan is beautiful. An example of what we're talking about. It's completely okay. Thank you so much. Who needs tears? Jovan, you're an angel. I love meditating with my fish. Oh, for real one. I think you attracted what you put out, Joe. Back when I used to go out more, people always seemed to want to just come up to me and start talking to me. Shannon, you're shining your light, friend. You're attracting that light, and people are illuminating you, trying to get your attention because you're going to, by paying attention to them, shine light on them. You're projecting. Y'all are angels from the heavens. Isaac, that is so interesting. My dog would look off into the sunset with me, all still and relaxed. Thanks for the reminder. I need to get back out there. And I'm sure you will, Jovan. Like Pippi is also just, laying on the grass. Ashamash, just having a time. Tears and Shanna. I love this topic. It is one that actually been on my mind a lot. I love that it resonates with you too. You see, Jovan, the layers. It's one of the coolest things to just be with animals. It's a reminder that before modernity, yes, the modern anity, that's all that was. The world persists unhindered by woes of society. We are that world. We have created for ourselves a world, and now we're tripping out about how difficult it is to live in the world that we've created. It's a little bit of a paradox. Who are you? I keep seeing you. Gold dust. I'm Meltmore, friend. It's nice to meet you. Much love to you, beloved friends. Kira Burr. Much love to you. I know him. I know you, Sky. You know how I know you? By knowing that you are I. And I know I in myself, and I know that I is within you. So I can convince myself that I know you as well, friend. I might not know the intricacies of the fractal you're experiencing right now, but I know the fundamental part that is you. This is Meltmore, just a human filled with love, sharing it. Thank you so much, Kira Burb. I appreciate you sharing the love. Thank you. Hope all is good as well. Thank you, Gold. He's got the Heath Ledger Kenny G haircut. Doesn't Heath Ledger have straight hair? I actually don't know. But thank you, friend, for seeing that fractal. And Jeff Hardy beard. I don't know who Jeff Hardy is. Thank you, Frank, for seeing patterns, friend, for attracting into your life those patterns. I appreciate you passing through. Love to you, Glass Darkly. Thank you for the all seeing upvote, Fash. Friends, I have to leave. Not because I want to, but because I have class to get to. Do wish me luck. It's going up until 3 a.m. Could be. Could be easier, but it is the way that it is. And all that I can do is be the way that I am, with things being the way that it is, attracting at least myself wherever it is that I'm going. Bash, thank you for the luck, friend. You got this, Melty. Dum ba bum, ba-dum-bum. Maybe I'll make myself another coffee. Probably not. I don't think I'll have time for it. But friends, again, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being attracted into this space. Thank you for spending a moment listening to what it is we wanted to share. Have a good class, Melty. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shannon. Thank you, friends. Thank you for all the love you provide. Love is true. Love is true. We're going to change this world, and we're attracting into our lives the world we want to have. A world of love, a world of acceptance, a world of peace, a world of recognition, a world of being able to encourage one another and support one another. I look forward to continuing to live in this world with you. Goodbye, friends. See you again tomorrow. Cheers, friends.